Okay, I'm Mike Caton from Ace Method Coaching, and I'm here for another live stream of doing some video reviews. Excuse me. Today I've got 5 hurdlers as promised. When I say promise, because I get a lot more than that. I'm sorry for all of you who sent them in. I'm only going to be selecting 5 each week, but I want you to know that I do this a much better version of what you're seeing here. If you go to my website, let me show you really quick while I'm talking about it, in case you've never been there. Wrong one. Okay, so at acemethodcoaching.com, you go to my hurdle page, scroll down to here. First off, this is how you send me a video, free video review. You click on here, takes you to a page, talks to you about what your different options are. But what I want to talk to you about is the fact that I do hurdle technique analysis, basically a whole virtual, it's called a virtual coaching session, where I'll look at your video, answer all your questions in detail, give you tons of information, tons of advice. Everybody's always happy with it, tells me really good things about it. You will too. And if you don't like it, let me know and I'll refund your money. It's 100% satisfaction guaranteed, but nobody's yet have ever asked for their money back because they tell me they learned a lot. You definitely want to do it. It's certainly worth the money. If you want to have a good season, definitely do it. If you just want to roll the dice and hope that I choose you, then you can just go here and do a free video review, just so you'll know. Okay, let me go back out and do that. No, screen capture, no. This is what I want. Okay. Just to double check. Okay. Here are the hurdlers that I've selected this week for a variety of reasons. And by the way, every video I got this week was actually a good video. It's just that I can only choose 5 because that's all I have time to do. And there's a variety of reasons. I'm choosing this first person. His name is Walker. He's an 8th grader. And to tell you the truth, it's kind of a silly reason. It's because I don't know, I'm going to show you this video. He is in the white t-shirt. And I was intrigued by the fact that the camera person is running alongside, but the camera's not moving, so they must be using one of those gimbals. I'm not sure. Or, you know what? My phone doesn't do this, but I understand that maybe new phones are doing that. So maybe I'm just got excited about nothing. But anyway, I thought it was pretty cool because I can see this person's shadow here. And it looks like they're holding a phone up by their head. At first I thought maybe they're doing one of those steady cams, which I need to get for my videos. But anyway, all right. So Walker, you got lucky. So white t-shirt. Okay. So basically overall wondering about his form. Your first step out of the blocks is good. Out of your imaginary blocks. Another one good. 2, 3, good. 4, good. 5, 6. So I'm starting to reach out there. 7. Big reach out in front of you. So you had 6 really good steps out of the hurdle. Out of the blocks. And then you just put on the brakes big time. Okay? So all the speed that you built up, you're giving up some of it by putting your foot this far in front of you. You want to keep it underneath you. So maybe if you, take slightly longer steps for your first 6, maybe just a couple of inches each, that'll add up to a foot, which will put it to where you don't have to step out this far. You can maintain your speed going into this hurdle, not have this braking action, and see how you're sunken down really low here. That's a sign of somebody who's getting ready to jump up. So you're going down in order to jump up, and you don't want that. You want to come at the hurdle high and you want to go flat. Okay, so, whoa, wait a minute. Did you just take 9 steps? Oh, too fast, too fast. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so first bit of advice is you only need 8 steps. So you need to take a bunch of better steps. I'm sorry, take 8 better steps and don't break like you're doing here. These are all, this is even worse than the other one. This is about as bad as it gets, I'm sorry. Of putting your foot in front of you, slowing down, losing all your speed and getting ready to jump up. And here we will see you. Now you just jumped over the hurdle. So basically you ran fast for 6 steps, slow for 3 steps, gave up all that good speed, and then jumped over the hurdle. So you sprinted, slowed down, jumped up, and now you're so high over the hurdle, you got to deal with all the time it takes to land and all this off balance stuff. Look at that. Looks like you just jumped off a building. Okay? So think about it. That's not what you want for speed. And then now you collapse into the ground. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Had you kept that speed from your first 6 steps and went low over that hurdle, you'd come off that hurdle fast. You could probably get to this hurdle in 3 steps. Okay, so you're just repeating the same thing over and over. Okay, super high jump, crash landing, sprint, then you put on the brakes at the end, and then you jump high again. So you got to stop that. Okay. Thanks for being my first person with the steady cam feature. Okay, Anthony. Okay, this is another one that I selected because I was so intrigued by the videos. Okay, here's what it took me. I've never seen this before. Somebody sent me 3 angles from the same race. Okay, so notice one person is standing, this is him right here. One person is standing here with the camera. Another person, I figured out, is this person sitting down right here. And then there's another one who I think is the guy. I'm not, it might be this, okay, it's this person standing over here. By the way, Anthony is in 9th grade. This is he's been hurdling for 4 years. So what I'm guessing here, Anthony, is you hurdled all the way through middle school, got to high school, and now you're a high schooler jumping at some big hurdles. So anyway, how could I say no to somebody who put in this much work into getting 3 people to take videos for him? I know that can be really hard, so great job on that. So anyway, let's watch this from this angle. See, you're behind. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, let me go back. So you took too big of a step with your first step. You're trying to get your legs underneath you. It's what I think. When I see from the other angle, I'll be able to confirm it. Same thing here, because you're reaching out and you're stepping down on the track versus driving backwards against the track. And it shows why you are almost in last place after your first 2 or 3 steps out of the blocks. These other guys are pushing back against the ground. So you want to have a negative shin angle there. And now we jump over to camera 2. Like this is a professional. If I could edit this, it would have been really cool. But, all right. Yeah, so look at you. Here we get from the other angle. And I can just see how enormous your strides are. And what's happening is you're trying to get your foot underneath you so that you have balance, which is very normal in wanting to do that. But what you need to do to be really fast out of the blocks is get comfortable with that sensation of falling, and you want to drive backwards. You want your foot to be behind you, not underneath you. Just so you know, we haven't even gotten to the hurdle yet. And they're all just reaching really far in front of you, landing on your heels. And you want to get them underneath you, landing on the balls of your feet so you don't have this braking action that you do all the time. And then I can just see how high you jumped over the hurdle. So darn it, I've got to do something really quick because I failed to bring your third video over. Normally I'd say, forget it, I'm not going to stop my live stream to do this, but you put all this, darn it, you put all this energy into this. So Anthony number 3, I'm going to move it over here. Give me a second. Okay, here you go. Okay, here's camera angle 3. That's really cool that your gym at your school seems to have that. Okay, let me slow it down now. I mean, these lanes painted in there. That's pretty cool. Okay, so jumping up pretty high. This right here is not a bad look. That your arms are too open though. I can tell that your lead arm is a little too straight in front of you. Trail arm, I can tell is a little straight behind you. But the angle of your legs, your lower body is nice, but you're too high over the hurdle. Okay? So not only have you moved up to, I'm thinking a higher hurdle now, but you're jumping 6 to 8 inches higher than it. So you've made it really hard. And then see the look that you have right here? You're not supposed to look this way, but this is the way it looks when somebody's jumping from a height. And in hurdling, you don't jump from a height. You run at the hurdle, wrap your legs around it, and come down quicker, like you should already be touching down by now. But, so you're having to wait. Man, this looks like my high school jersey from back in the day, 100 years ago. So, but not bad. I mean, not bad. It's just that you're too high. And so that's the reason why you're over-rotated right here, because it took too long to land and your body had that much time to counter-rotate there. So my biggest advice to you is stop putting on the brakes like this and go, instead of jumping up over the hurdle, drive your knee to the top of the hurdle and just go flat over that hurdle. Okay, so you might need to practice with some practice hurdles so you can have the confidence, let them go a little lower, pinch them in closer, get used to that sensation, and then try to get faster and faster at it so that you can eventually do it in the meet. Okay? All right, moving on to Youssef. Youssef is in 10th grade, first year hurdling. Basically says he has an issue with bounding between the hurdles, and it's hard for him to do 3 steps, so he's doing sometimes 5 steps and wanted some help with that. So let's check it out. Okay, I'm just going to slow this down here. Actually, let me do this. I'm being really careless today. So, okay, overall, Youssef, you have the basics down. And you look pretty comfortable at it too. But there's something really obvious that I'm seeing. Let me break it down. Okay. First off, I always have my hurdlers, even though we don't go over use blocks at practice very often, unless we're being very intentional about it, like a full speed time trial or something. I usually just, for the sake of time, have them doing what you're doing, but never standing up. The reason is that when you stand up, your first steps out of the hurdle are so different, and sometimes they're longer or shorter than what you would normally do, and so it affects your 8 steps. And then when you get to a meet and you get in blocks, you have a hard time with the 8 steps. So what I do is I have everybody always go down as if they were in blocks. At minimum, to be in a 3-point stance, that means you have one hand down and one hand up, or you can go down with both of them. That way you're always coming up from the ground. That's my first bit of advice. Okay, so step 1, very good. Step 2, very good. 3, very good. 4, very good. And by the way, what I'm looking for when I say good, I'm looking at the angle of your shin, but I'm also watching the direction that how your foot is hitting the ground. I want it coming back, pushing back into the track versus straight down or jabbing forward. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, very good. 7, pretty good. 8. Okay, so on step 8, you see what you did here. You gave up the speed, which, by the way, to be honest with you, it doesn't look like you are fully committed to running full speed to the hurdle. I'll just be really upfront about it. It just didn't strike me as aggression, like I'm really going for it. It looked like somebody who's thinking, I'm going to go pretty fast, but I'm lacking confidence here, so I'm only really going to go about 90%, and then I'm going to slow down at that last step before I go over the hurdle to gain control. That's what it looks like to me. And if I were at the track with you, I'd say, okay, let's do it again with confidence. So, okay, this is not bad. I'm looking at your lead leg. Okay, I'd like to have your heel tucked a little higher up to your butt at this point. Also, it seems like you kind of sunk down right here. See that? See how your knee is bent? Try to come up at the hurdle tall, because you look to be a big guy, a tall guy. So take advantage of that. Get even higher. Come straight at or down at that hurdle versus squatting down to jump up. Okay, not bad. You did drive your knee a little bit too high, but overall, okay. I don't get the sensation. Again, I'm somebody who's under the belief that you are really not going full speed. And I can also tell because when I look at this leg, your plant leg, it just looks like you didn't push that hard off of it. You just sort of leaped over it. And you went too high. And then you ended up landing a bit too far on the other side. This isn't terrible, but it's a bit too far on the other side. Your arms are straight. Look at how your lead arm is now way behind you. But you kept your shoulders pretty squared, and then you just sort of drop this trail leg down. Boom, a little non-committal. Didn't look very aggressive. Remember, this trail leg here, that's your first step to the next hurdle. So you really want to drive hard off of your left leg, push hard here, and then drive this down really hard. Step 1, step 2. Okay, see this spacing we have here, stepping in front of you. This is somebody who's, well, you said it, you're bounding, okay? The reason why you're bounding, Youssef, is because you know that you're not going to make it to the hurdle in 3 steps. So you're taking these long boundy strides to compensate for the fact that you're not going full speed, okay? And then here, another big stretch out. All these are putting on the brakes. And then you jump high over the hurdle. By the way, this lead leg is opening up too soon. It's kind of like leaping with a straight leg. So my biggest advice for you is to change your mental game and just say, I can do this, okay? If I go full speed, I commit to full speed and I run like a sprinter and I get on the balls of my feet, striking the ground underneath me, and I go 100% committed speed over this, and I'm going to go flat and low over this hurdle, it is going to change your whole game here. You won't have this issue anymore, and you'll be seconds faster in the hurdles already. So honestly, me taking any more time to break down technique is a waste, because it would all change as soon as you commit to going full speed. So that's my advice. Moving on to Marcus. So Marcus, I chose you because you're my only 300 hurdler of the week, and you're really good. You probably know that. And but I do have one thing I'm going to say. I'm not going to watch the whole video because it just takes too long. But here's Marcus right here in lane 5. And let me speed through this because we got too long of a lead up. But Marcus is wondering what he needs to do about getting his steps to the first hurdle. Okay, so let me get this at full speed. Bring this to the start. I'm going to let you watch it in full speed first. Okay, so you see that, pretty smooth, but chopping to the first hurdle, chopping to the second hurdle. And then I'm going to go fast forward here, but you notice he totally leaves the field behind and literally no chopping, exceptionally smooth at the end of the race. Got your steps down beautifully. Absolutely no stuttering. Okay, so you look to be a veteran at this race. So something that I want to say, and so what I'm guessing is, this is like the first meet of the season or something like that, right? And so you're not in the best shape. I think, okay, first off, that's kind of the reason why you dusted everybody, because everybody else just ran out of gas. So most hurdlers are not in great shape for the 300 or 400 hurdles at the very beginning of the season. And as each week of the season goes on, they get better and better. And in the last 4 weeks of the season and the end of the season, everybody's time just starts dropping like crazy because their fitness level is now so high. Your fitness level actually looks pretty good, which is part of the reason why you are so far ahead. But you also are dealing with something that's pretty common. Okay, pretty common for somebody who's got the last, so there's 8 hurdles in this race. You have the last 5 hurdles down, best I could tell, really good. It's your first 3 hurdles that are good, that are choppy. So that means that it's not until you become a little fatigued and you settle into, say, hurdle 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that you start to settle into your groove. That means at the beginning of the race, you have too much energy, so you end up being too close to the hurdle. So you end up having to chop a little bit, right? So plus this, and here's my opinion. As soon as I watched this race, here's my first thoughts. I went, oh, this guy's just jogging. This does not look like somebody sprinting over the hurdles. So I was surprised at how good you looked at the end of the race. So putting it all together and having all the experience that I do about this, I would say, Marcus, you're way too good to be going this slow to the first hurdle and the second hurdle. So I would reduce your steps. Okay, let me see here. Let me go back. However many steps you're taking to this first hurdle, I would switch your legs at the blocks and take 1 less. And then maybe let me count them. If I can, let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, no way. You shouldn't be taking 25 steps to the first hurdle. My girls take 24 steps to the first hurdle. My boys take 22 steps to the first hurdle. But you don't look tall. So here's what I would do. I would make it incremental. For now, I would switch your steps at the first hurdle and try to do 24. And then, let's see what we got going on here. $17. Okay, so basically what I would do is I would take 16 steps to the next hurdle and then 16 steps to the third hurdle. So 24 steps to the first hurdle, so you can hit it with the leg that you like, which is your right leg. And then I would take 16 steps to the next hurdle and hit it with your left leg, and then 16 steps and hit it again. 16 steps and now get back to your right leg, and then hold your right leg all the way through with your 17 steps. That's what I would do. And then over time, I would see if you could eventually get this down to 23 steps to the first hurdle versus the 25 that you're taking now, and get back to your favorite leg in the blocks. That's what I would do. Okay. Again, with a short amount of time. And let's see. No. This video, I don't know if you're so far away. This one here in your 100, it just strikes me as it's early season. You just need more repetitions of going over this. This looks good. Good. 3, 4. Reached out there. 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't like that last step going into the hurdle. Too much braking. You see how you're leaning back? I don't like what you do with your lead arm here. You kind of bring it out to the side. Just shoot it forward. This is going to slow you down and mess with your balance. But you're like a really good hurdler. Okay? Yeah, you're really good. I would work on probably your first 4 steps out of the blocks. If you could increase them each by 1 inch, even that would give you 4 inches. So then this last step going into the hurdle, you don't have to reach out in front and lose your speed. Keep your foot underneath you and just go flat over that hurdle. That's what I would do. Okay. Moving on to the last one of the day, which is Jeri. Jeri, I don't know if that I mentioned it. I think I'm failing to do this today for some reason. But Marcus is a junior in high school, third year hurdling. Okay. Jeri is a senior in high school, 2nd year hurdling. And she's telling me that she wants to know how to get faster over the hurdle. So she's not going over the hurdle fast enough. And her lead leg, she feels like it's not coming up fast enough and having a hard time snapping her trail leg down. So we're going to watch Jeri in full speed. Okay, you're really good. But I definitely can see what you're talking about. So let's break that down. Go. Let me zoom in. Okay. First step, I'm not thrilled with your start. You just kind of pop up too quickly. And it seems like you got your foot underneath you. And I've talked about that earlier. That's a sign either lacking confidence, not comfortable with the feeling of pushing back into the track, stepping behind your center of mass, or the speed. Maybe you don't have the strength to pull it off because it does take a lot of power, but you're not generating the speed necessary. This is not a bad step here. But definitely on your left foot, you keep wanting to get it more underneath you. Again, this one's now in front of you on your left foot. See, I think you have some asymmetry going on here. Okay, that's good. Reaching out. And now definitely reaching, going in to this last hurdle. Okay, landing, same thing as pretty much everybody here. Landing too far in front of your center of mass, leaning back, sitting back into it. And then here's the one big thing. Your lead leg. See how open it is? Even right here, like it's supposed to be right here, your heel tucked up to your butt. And then you hold it there, drive your knee forward, and at this point, start unfurling your leg, and then go flat. But you did go pretty flat, which is impressive for somebody that lifted a straight leg. But it's just slower to lift your leg the way you are, okay? So you need to, and it kind of stinks because you're a senior and your season is probably already started, but had you reached out to me last year or the summer, I'd say you need to take the summer and retrain yourself how to do that lead leg because it's lifting. But you recover it really well. But I would still work on it a little bit. Think about driving the knee towards the hurdle versus the foot towards the hurdle, okay? Because right here, see, this looks pretty good. And then watch your leg straighten out and then straighten out and then straighten it out even more, right? I'll show you more when you get to the next hurdle, but this look right here is not what you want. And I'll just think about that. I'm also seeing how far away you are from the hurdle. I'm also noticing that your trail leg just drops, boom, right there. Huge stride to the next hurdle. Huge stride to the hurdle. Actually, still big. And then, again, opening the lead leg too soon. I think the fact that you have your heel up here makes me think that it really might not be that big of a stretch. I probably shouldn't use that. Too big of a deal to work on keeping it tighter for just a fraction of a second longer. Okay? So this right here looks pretty good. That your heel is at or maybe an inch in front of this hurdle. Your knee is slightly bent. You're leaning into it, fully committed to go into this. You got your arm out there, but here's where it goes wrong. At this point, when I look at the really good female hurdlers, once I advance this frame, your heel should be going down, like coming down. Like once your heel clears this hurdle, it starts to descend, but yours starts to go higher for 3 clicks of my mouse, right? And this look right here, you should have had farther back. So again, it's in the lead leg. You need to keep it in tighter. And as soon as you get here, you need to start hooking it down past the hurdle, not lifting higher, and then landing so far away from the hurdle. Okay? So you might be thinking, how do I fix that? Okay, first I would start with a wall drill, working on practicing keeping your heel tucked into your butt, driving with your knee. Then I would do, this is all in my Hurdling 101, 201, but I would work on that, but I would do what I show in my hurdle warm-up progression, which is in Hurdle 201. I'm going to send this to you, but because it's driving me crazy, because you look so close to being really good. But anyway, you need to do a lead leg drill. That's where you are running over the hurdles only. So you'd be, in your case, you'd be over at the right side of the hurdle and only letting your lead leg go. That way you can just focus on that lead leg moving the way that it's supposed to and coming down when it's supposed to. But so another thing is I guess you're just jumping too hard up at the hurdle, or it's going to be too hard forward, which is the reason why you're not coming down when you're supposed to, okay? Because when you do land, this is a really nice position here. And then, but the problem also is this, right here, click, click. At this point right here, where your toe is on the ground, this actually looks pretty good, but then right here, when I go from here to here, which by the way, if I were doing a hurdle virtual coaching session, I would pull in a really good girl hurdler, a video next to yours, and show you the difference. So it's not just me telling you, see the difference is at this point, your thigh should be parallel to the ground and your knee should be as high as your hip. And it's just more powerful drive to the next hurdle. This is actually not a bad step. Right here looks pretty good. But this is a huge striding action, which is actually slower, but I know why you're doing it, because you want to get to the next hurdle. This one's not as bad as the other one, as the second one. So, okay, here's what I would do also, and this is all, I wouldn't practice at full spacing. Here's the reason why. Oh my goodness. Okay, here's what you should do. I am posting tomorrow a webinar that I did for hurdle coaches. You should listen to that webinar because I spend a lot of time talking about how to space the hurdles at practice and why. And that way I don't have to go through it all again right now. So tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern is when this video will post on YouTube. Go to this part where I'm talking about the spacing at practice, and you'll learn a lot from this. Even though you're not the coach or the athlete, you'll hear from a coach's perspective what you should be doing here, okay? You basically you need to pinch your hurdles in. You need to lower your hurdles at practice so that you could practice properly, so that you could race properly. If you keep doing this, all you're doing is reinforcing bad habits in your stride and in your technique. And if you just keep practicing that way, that's the way you're going to race. So you need to practice better in order to race better. Okay, so that's it. With the reviews that I'm doing this week, I'm going to see if by chance anybody left a question, and the answer is no. Okay, so let me get back to here. Okay, so that's it. Hopefully you learned a lot from there. As I mentioned, a lot of you would gain a lot from watching the video that I'm going to post tomorrow, but there's so many videos that I have on my YouTube channel that will help various things that I've seen today, but that's it. Anybody who wants me to do this, go to acemethodcoaching.com. You'll see a section on there. I just showed it at the beginning of this video, how to submit your video, but the smart play is invest in your hurdling. Sign up for a virtual coaching session, where I do a much bigger, better version of what you saw today. And it'll help you a ton, and you'll be so glad you did. So that's it. I know a lot of people are beginning of their season, so I hope your season goes well. And know that I'm here to help. Okay, Coach Ace out.